Good afternoon. My name is Taylor Nella and I'm going to be your MC for this afternoon's event. Please be advised that this session is being recorded, so if you need to refer back to any information that has been mentioned, you'll be able to do so. Welcome. Welcome to Curtin University's Mature Age Information Session. Before I begin, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we are meeting, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay respects to their elders, past and present. Today's session is going to be hosted by Julie Langmead, who is a Future Student Engagement Coordinator. We are also going to be joined by two panellists who are going to tell you about their experience as a mature age student at Curtin University. If you have a question at any time during the proceedings, please use the Q&A feature on the right-hand side of your screen. We do have course advisors sitting there eagerly waiting for your questions to come through. Julie will also be answering some questions at the end of her presentation. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Julie, who's going to be taking you through this afternoon's session. Over to you.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Julie and I'm part of the Future Students team. I'm here to talk to you about coming to Curtin and actually studying with us. And also, I've actually studied at Curtin as a mature age student as well. I finished my degree in 2010. I did a Bachelor of Psychology, which usually takes only 4 years to complete, but for me it took 10 because I was very part-time and I had 3 children along the way and was working full-time. So I know what it's like to actually decide to do something like this, and you're actually going to enjoy studying. It is something that you'll really enjoy and be passionate about. So let's get started. What we're going to cover today is some of the facts from Curtin. We're also going to talk about the pathways of getting into courses at Curtin. We're also going to talk about how do you find the information out on the website and how do you apply, and also the fees and the scholarships and support that we have once you're here. Just a little bit of information about the university. We're in the top 1% of universities worldwide. And in the current QS rankings that came out only this week, I think, we're actually ranked as 217th and gone up 13 places. The other great thing about Curtin graduates is that we are the #1 WA public university for graduate employability. So from that perspective, you actually learn the theory, you get to put it into practice, and you get lots of opportunities to meet future employers. To give you an idea of where Curtin is located, our main campus is the Curtin Perth campus, and it's located just a little bit south of South Perth. You can easily get to Curtin through public transport. It's a matter of catching maybe the railway line from Mandurah to Joondalup or the other way around and getting off at Canning Bridge, and then catching a 5-minute bus trip across, which is really easy to get to. The other thing is we have a lot of parking, so you can actually drive onto campus, and we use Cello Park, which is just an app that you pay for parking whilst you're here. The other great thing about Curtin though is that when you're a mature age student, a lot of the time you decide that you're actually going to work, maybe work in the daytime and go to uni after hours. So if you come on campus from 4:30 onwards, it's free parking. I just want to talk a little bit about the industry links that we have. Curtin has a partnership with NASA. So for our students who are doing engineering, you're able to actually do mechatronics and possibly do an internship in the final year of your course. We have a lot of other companies that we have great partnerships with, like BHP, the Dockers. So if you're doing journalism, you can do Dockers TV, or possibly if you're actually interested in exercise and sports science, you could maybe go with Hockey Australia and have a look at their elite program as well. So there are many great industry links. Our courses are designed to actually allow students to go in and graduate and then be able to work in the industry that they've chosen to go into. So what happens if you're not sure about what you want to study? Well, one thing you should be doing is think about what you're interested in, what you're passionate about, what your future career goals will be. Because a lot of the time, you really need to think, well, maybe I'm in an organisation and I want to actually get past that glass ceiling. I don't have that degree, so what can I do to actually get past that? So Curtin is great from that perspective. The other thing is that if you maybe are not happy in your career, you might look at what are you really passionate about and then go for that as well. There are things that you should do, like doing your research. So it's really important to look at our publications, get onto the website and have a look. There are some great career websites that you can go into, which is something like joboutlook.gov.au. That enables you to go in and have a look and see where the projected careers and jobs are going to be, maybe 7 to 10 years into the future. And then we also do recommend that you talk to people that know you. They're great for support, and they're also going to give you some great guidance to maybe suggest things that maybe you haven't thought of before. We also suggest that you get onto our study.curtin.edu.au website. You can book an appointment with us as well, and maybe come visit us on our virtual open day, which is going to be on the 13th of September. So now I'm going to talk about some of the different pathways to get into uni. So first of all, if you've completed Year 12, and it might have been your ATAR, it could have been TE or even TAE, or maybe even leavers in the 70s, then if you were eligible for either Curtin or Wait back then, you are eligible for Curtin now to be considered. The most important thing to remember is that we do need you to fulfil English competency. So if you've actually passed Year 12 English, then that will hopefully be that. But there's also prerequisites that Curtin might have for certain courses. So if you've done that at Year 12 level, then it's a matter of maybe getting in contact with us and we can make sure that it's still valid. The other things you can do are things like Cert 4s, so Certificate 4s maybe at TAFE. We do accept that, but you need separate evidence of English. There's also diplomas, a diploma maybe at Curtin College, our provider that's on campus, that's the provider that we have an agreement with. Or you maybe have done a diploma or advanced diploma at TAFE or another private institution that we actually accept. Then there's our Uni Ready course. It's an enabling course that will actually give you the skills that you need to cope with university study. So that could be something that you might prefer to do instead. It's only takes 6 months, it's 4 units, and you can actually, you'll be able to go straight into your course that you're interested in or a pathway course to get you into the course you want. And then we have the Centre for Aboriginal Studies that has all of our enabling Indigenous programs, but also our programs in our bachelor's degrees for community health and management. And then there are portfolio. One great thing about if you've been out of school for a while, you've had a lot of work experience. So we want to acknowledge that, and hopefully it's relevant to what you're trying to get into. So have a look at our website. It shows you all the courses you can apply for the portfolio entry, and it's straightforward with step-by-step instructions of how to apply. And then if you're thinking about coming to uni and you don't have any background, you can always sit the special tertiary admissions test. That one's designed to actually enable you to go straight into university, and it's only a 3-hour test. There's 2 parts to it. One is a written English section that has 2 short essays, and the other is a multiple choice that has 2 results, a verbal component, which is all the maths, the English sort of social science questions, and the other is a quantitative result, and that has all the maths science type questions. Curtin is it's one of the most important things about getting into uni is actually having English proficiency. So there are many different ways of getting this. You can see on the slide there are loads of different ways. So you could have just done your high school leaving English, and that might have enabled you to be able to meet our English component. There's always the IELTS academic or the Pearson Test of English academic, and they are international tests that you can do that will enable you to be able to fulfil the English component. And if English is your second language, it's something that's worth considering doing. I mentioned the STAT before. The written English section of the STAT can also fulfil the English component. And also, if you've done a diploma or an advanced diploma at a TAFE or an accredited private institution, you can actually fulfil the English component that way as well. You might have been in a different country and done GCSEs or A-levels, and if you've got a C grade or higher in the English section for that, then yes, that will also fulfil the English component for Curtin. There are lots of different information and lots of areas that you can look at in more detail through our Pathways section on our website. This is just to give you an idea of all the different ways of getting in. And the blue box that's circled there, that's our search engine. If you actually click on that, it'll allow you to see all these possible scenarios, and one might fit you. You can click on that and it'll tell you what you would need to do to fulfill requirements. One great thing about Curtin is that as long as you've got English competency, you could actually look at our Curtin Access option, and that's listed on our Pathways website as well. Another way of getting into maybe the more competitive courses is by doing a Pathways course. So for example, say a person wants to get into occupational therapy, they could look at maybe doing health sciences initially, and then after doing 1 year or maybe a semester, might be able to course switch across into the course they want to get into. Multidisciplinary science is a fantastic option for anything in science or engineering. And commerce is a great one for law because it's in the same school, but you can do other courses as well, maybe a Bachelor of Arts. These are all our different areas of study. So you can see there's the 4 faculties: health sciences, business and law, science engineering and humanities, and of course the Centre for Aboriginal Studies. To find more information out about all of the courses, it's a matter of just getting onto our website, putting in the course that you're interested in studying, clicking on that and click on and find out lots of information about it. One great thing about looking at it online is if there is a second semester intake, you'll be able to click on the green Apply Now box and then follow the prompts, and then you can just put an application in via this website. So that's for second semester for this year. If you are looking at applying for first semester of next year, the Tertiary Institution Service Centre is now open to take your applications. It's a matter of just getting onto the website, tisk.edu.au, just clicking on and registering, and then you'll be able to put an application in and follow the prompts. If you have been to university before, or you've actually done any TAFE studies at a diploma or an advanced diploma level, then it is worth considering applying for advanced standing. We actually do not want you to necessarily repeat what you've already done and at the level that we require. So what you can do is put in an application after you've applied for university for advanced standing if you are in that situation. So it's fairly straightforward. You just have to get onto the website. Some of the different degree courses and also TAFE courses are already linked on there, but you can put in an application if it's not there, listed there, and then it will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. It's really important you do this as early as possible because it can affect your enrolment and what units that you will be doing when you first start university. One of the great things about Curtin is the support that you'll get once you're here. So we do recommend that if you're part of the community, you'll really feel like you're actually part of the place and you'll have a sense of belonging. So we do recommend that you maybe join some clubs. The Curtin Volunteers Club is one of the largest clubs in the Southern Hemisphere for universities when it comes to volunteering. So we do recommend that. It's a great opportunity for you to be able to give back to society, but also it also shows that you care about other people, and that looks great on a CV as well. There is a new to Curtin mentor program. That mentor you will receive if you're a new student to Curtin, and that person will be with you for the first 6 months just to make sure that you're feeling okay. And you can ask them any questions you like, and they're there to assist. There's also great social sports. You can also join leadership programs as well. Our career service is fantastic when it comes to looking at internships, maybe getting a part-time job when you're at university, and helping you find that graduate job at the end of your course. And then we have the library. The library is open to you to be able to use and utilise. You might go in the library itself or utilise it at home online. It's got some great online facilities as well. One thing I do want to mention is UniPass. UniPass is there to help you. It's available for all the courses and units that have actually maybe a bit challenging units, that a lot of things you have to learn. And so if you actually do that, it's like free tutoring. You get, it's facilitated by a peer-to-peer experience, but they're there to help you as much as possible so you can improve your grades. Maybe there's the difference between passing or possibly getting a high distinction. So I just want to go through some of the possible costs that you might actually incur along the way so you're fully aware of that. So there's also our HECS fees. All of our undergraduate degrees, which are the bachelor's degrees, are actually under our HECS system. So what happens is that each course is put in a category, in a band, and that's determined by the federal government. So what happens is that if you are doing something like maybe education or nursing, you could be in band 1. If you're doing something in health sciences or science, that's band 2, or maybe the built environment, so architecture possibly is band 2 as well. And also the band 3 ones, which is the $11,155 total, that's actually for courses like medicine, probably dentistry, which we don't have, but there's accounting as well, and law. So that's those areas. Those totals are 1 year full-time. So if you are only a part-time student, you'll only be charged the time that you're actually doing it per semester. And if you're an Australian citizen, then you can actually defer your payment and not have to pay it back until you start reaching whatever the actual threshold is for payment. At this stage, I think it's around $45,000. There's also our student services and amenities fee. So that's all about, you'll join the guild, you'll actually get lots of services that you provide. You only pay for that for the amount of units that you do per semester, and also whether you're an online student or a face-to-face will depend on the charges. There's parking, as I mentioned before, and that's you use a Cello Park app. But as I mentioned, also, the Cello Park is actually only up till 4:30. After that, the parking is free. And then there's textbooks. You can buy that online or the second-hand bookshop. And we have a great service in the library because all of our texts for every unit that we do is actually in the high demand section of the library. So you can always go and look at it there. And then there's uniforms. So say you're going on a prac and you're doing occupational therapy, you'll need to have your polo, that's I think a crimson colour, and also a name badge to go to all your pracs, but you might need a lab coat if you're doing labs as well. So these are other minor costs that you might have to incur as well. One other thing I want to talk about is scholarships. There are so many different types of scholarships that Curtin have right now. My recommendation is you get onto the scholarships.curtin.edu.au page, and that will enable you to see all the scholarships that are available for students. If you're applying for second semester, get onto it now because there's always scholarships you can apply even in second semester. I'll give you an example of the STAR scholarship, which is a scholarship for people in financial need and need assistance. So you can apply for that for second semester this year, or there are lots of other scholarships you can apply for first semester next year as well. For our first semester of next year, the applications open on the 16th of August. So just make sure that you get on there and have a good look. There is a scholarships alert page, which means that they will get in touch with you, the scholarships team, and tell you all the possible scholarships you can apply for. So now we've finished with the actual details. So now I would like to introduce you to our students that are here today. First of all, I'm going to bring in Ryan.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Ryan is a current student. He's currently studying a Bachelor of Science in Physiotherapy. Tell me about your journey and how you got to be a second year physiotherapy student at Curtin.
Yeah, it was a journey. It was definitely a journey. So I started off a while ago when graduated high school and had no intention of going to university, and so I didn't do any ATAR or anything like that, and so I decided to start working. And well, I didn't decide, I had to because I had nothing else to do. and I worked, and then I travelled for a couple of years, and then I started realising that I wanted to go to university, and physiotherapy was always in the back of my mind, but I had no idea how to do it. So I ended up finding out that Curtin offered it, and so I called them up and I said, this is my situation, can you help me? And long story short, I ended up doing an enabling course, which you were talking about, and then that got me into exercise, sport and rehab science. And then once I got into that course, I then course switched into physiotherapy. And so it really helped me, the enabling course, really bridge that gap between high school and university life.
Yeah, and now you're second year.
Now I'm second year, yeah.
And you've just did an exam today, didn't you?
I did at 1 o'clock. It all happened so fast, and I'm here now, so it was good fun.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Hopefully you went okay.
I guess we'll see.
All right. What support service do you recommend that students use to assist them in their studies at Curtin?
Yeah, Curtin has a lot of different resources. So it can be anything from, we offer physiotherapy at discount prices as well for the fourth year physio students, all the way to little tips and tricks on how to pass an exam or how to ease anxiety. But one of the main ones I used, and I think you mentioned it, was the UniPass sessions.
Yes.
So they're good because they're run by students who've done the unit before, and often it's heavy content. So for me, it was anatomy, and I attended once a week with other students, and we just kind of brainstormed and went through the week's content and kind of just gave each other tips and tricks to get that edge.
Yeah, because something like anatomy, there's a lot of learning involved, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of muscles in the body.
That's true. I don't think I could remember them all, probably. What are some words of wisdom to someone who's considering studying uni for the first time?
For the first time. So what I wish someone told me when I started was that it's okay, or that it's possible to work and study at the same time. I guess coming from just working non-stop and then to study was a bit scary, knowing that I won't have as much of a stable income. But I guess I'm proof that you can do it. I'm in physio now, and I've worked ever since I started, since the enabling course, and it's just a matter of being flexible and choosing your timetable appropriately and making it work. But I know a lot of people who work as well. I know someone who's a mum of 3 young kids, and she works and does physio, so it is possible. You just got to find a way around it, and Curtin can help with that as well.
Yeah, there's a really good page, I think, plan your timetable for people who
Yeah.
have to work as well, right?
Yeah, that's essential. That's right. So it's possible for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Ryan. Now we're going to have Brian. It's the Ryan and Brian show at the moment. So welcome, Brian.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
So tell me, what was it like going back to uni after you've been working for a few years, and you'd been to uni before, and so you probably knew what it was like to have some money, and what was it like to be able to cope after going back again for a second time?
It was a bit of a shock, to be honest. You know, you think you're ready, you think you can expect all of this, but until you actually do it, it's always like, oh, okay, so now this is what I'm facing, you know? It's quite a multifaceted question you've asked. You know, one of the main things was I enjoyed it a lot more the second time. Okay. I think my first degree, which I did at least a decade before my second degree, you don't really appreciate the whole process, I guess, coming from, you know, school. So to you at that point in time, it feels, even more schooling. But going back as a matured age student, you know, you go back with a lot more purpose, because now it's not so much, I need a degree. Now it's, I want this degree. And coming in for the second time with that perspective, you approach the whole learning process very differently. You approach the whole, I don't have to, I get to take a break from working and actually just focus on studying at this point in time. And so it was refreshing. It was very enjoyable, and I enjoyed that aspect the most, and this time wanting to learn.
Yeah, I think the self-motivation is definitely there, isn't it?
Right.
I know that my grades improved so much more with my second degree than my first degree, so I think you do actually focus a lot more once you're a little bit older and wiser.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you give us some handy hints or words of encouragement that you would give someone who is thinking about studying university?
I guess following from what I've said earlier, because it's very different, plan as much as you can. It's very important to identify what support networks you might have, and obviously set those support networks up, whether it's emotional or logistical or financial support. You need to get it all worked out. Well, you don't need to. You can deal with things as you come up, but it's a lot easier if you have all this planned out. So for me personally, I had a small business running. That was what I was doing for like 7 years before. So I've run it for 7 years, and I had it on a turnkey system, and I knew I could step away from that. But then things happened after that where I didn't have the business anymore in mid degree. Then I had to switch to, all right, how do I juggle work on top of that as well? And it's also important to remember that a lot of the, all the uni staff there want you to succeed. If you need help, ask for help. The uni lecturers and the tutors, a lot of them understand your people in our position having either to juggle work or a young family or any other commitments, and you'll be surprised at how much they want to try and help you succeed. So whether it's like, I've got this thing at work, or my child is sick, and I need to turn this assignment in, what can I do? It's always the exception to the norm, obviously, but they're very willing to try and help you.
Yeah, I think very supportive, aren't they?
They are very,
from that
yeah.
perspective. So, has Curtin provided opportunities for you with regards to your current career that you now have?
Yes, Curtin has. Curtin Law School was very kind and supportive when I was, I think in my second year of law school. They got me a couple of internships, and one of them was with the John Tui's chambers, where I got to shadow some of the barristers as they went to either the federal court or the Supreme Court, and I got a first-hand experience seeing how lawyers actually worked. And you'd be surprised, students would be surprised at how different working life really is compared to just studying the subject. You study the topic, but when you go and you shadow these barristers, you see what the profession's really like. So that was key, and that set up a bit of networking as well, and asking the right questions. Obviously, it gives you the chance at least to ask the real professionals the real questions about the profession. So it's
Yeah, it's really great to get that experience, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and internships and things like that are
Yes.
so important.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Brian. Now we've actually got your questions. Oh, thank you. Let's have a look. Okay, so one of the questions Flo asked was, how does parking work on campus? Well, what you do is you download the app. It's a Cello Park app, and then it's just a matter of clicking on when you actually arrive on campus, and then you can click off again once you actually leave campus. It's done per hour, but if you reach the certain maximum for that day, then that's all that you will actually be charged. And it's just a matter of linking your credit card or putting some money onto the actual Cello Park option. So hopefully that helps you, Flo. Simon asked, have applications for semester 2 already closed? No, they haven't closed at all. You can still make an application for quite a few courses. Just need to check when you're actually going onto the website, and when you put in and click on the green button that says apply now, it will tell you if you're still able to apply for that particular course. So it's really important to know that you can still apply, but there will be some differing dates depending on courses. How do I apply for semester 2? Well, it's really straightforward. All you need to do is get onto the study.curtin.edu.au site, find the course that you're interested in, and then just click on the apply now and follow the prompts. It's that easy. How do I find what scholarships I can apply for? Well, that's really easy as well. You just get onto the scholarships site, and that is scholarships.curtin.edu.au. So you can go in there, you can click in the buttons of what actually describes you, and then a whole lot of different scholarships will come up and be listed that you can apply for. Let's have a look. What's the next one? So let's have a look here. Is there childcare on campus? Definitely. In fact, I can actually tell you from my own experience that I used the childcare at Curtin, and I used it for quite a long time until all my kids went to primary school. So one thing I do recommend is if you're thinking of coming to Curtin, the first thing you should do is get in touch with the childcare and organise to put in an application, because they are very popular. And my other suggestion would be is make sure you have a backup. So make sure that you contact maybe childcares in your area if you're not having family members help you as well, just as a backup in case you can't get into the childcare. Next question. Where do I go to apply? Well, it's just get onto the website. So it's the Curtin website. You just go into the study section and then you click on the Apply Now green button. So that's the easy way of applying. If you are looking at applying though for first semester of next year, which is 2021, then you will need to go onto the Tertiary Institution Service Centre application website. So it's tisk.edu.au, and then just all you need to do is register and then put in an application there as well. What's my timetable like? Well, it depends on really what units that you do. And a great thing you can look at, and I think I was talking to Ryan about this a little bit earlier, is there's a great website that you can do off Curtin called Plan Your Timetable. So it's timetable.student.curtin.edu.au, and you can go into that particular site and then you can put in the units you're doing, and then it'll tell you all the time frames that are available for you for the next semester. Let's have a look. Second last one. What's studying online like, and is there an online community? Well, actually, studying online is really easy to do. You actually can choose the time that you go and study, which is great. All of our lectures are recorded, so it means that everyone can look at those things at any time that they like, really. One great thing about our online community is that we use great software, so it means that you can, when you're trying to do assignments and things, you can ask lots of questions. The lecturers will get back to you, or other students will get back to you. So there's a good community that enables you to do well in your studies when it comes to actually doing online study. At the moment, because of the COVID-19, all of our students are actually online for this semester, but we're hoping to actually move back to being face-to-face for the ones that can do, but there are a lot of courses available that are actually online as well that you can actually do in that method if that's your preference. Just need to check again on the study.curtin.edu.au website, and it'll tell you the methods of study that's available for the course that you're trying to get into. And the last question I've got is, what social activities are available? Well, there are so many things you can do. You can play Quidditch, for example, if you like your Harry Potters. You can join a club for that. You can actually play volleyball, floorball. There's lots of fantastic social sports that you can do. You can join clubs. It could be to do with the course that you're going into, or it could be that you could go into the Passam Alam, which is an amazing festival that we have in the second semester at Curtin, and that is all done by the International Students Association, where there's food from all over the world, and Curtin becomes a night market, just like it would be in, say, Singapore, for example. So there's some fantastic things that you can actually be a part of when it comes to the social aspects of being at Curtin. I think that's the end of the questions. Well,
a big thank you to Julie. You've actually got me thinking maybe I should come back and do another course.
Why not?
Why not? And a big thank you to our two wonderful panellists, Ryan and Brian. What a duo. If you would like to book an appointment with our course advisory team, please refer to the information on the slides that will be provided. And also our team will be staying online for a little bit longer. So if you have any questions that you need to ask, please do so. So I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.